Come on, Soda Pop, let's go.
I live on and you know where I live, it's a 9-block drag strip. And we have, there's been some changes made in that neighborhood with the flagpole annexation, and so traffic could actually be moving around in a different area. I live on a street that since it was brought into the city 25 years ago, it was deemed to be a 20-mile-an-hour street because there's no sidewalks, no curb and gutter, and it's still a drag strip. This past year, I reported a couple of incidents to the police department. I had license plate numbers, I had vehicle, I had photographs, turned it over to the police department, and I ended up having the perpetrators of the speeding come back and try to accost me. And it's a real simple fix that could be taken care of on that street by just installing stop signs or yield signs in that 9-block stretch. That it forces people to stop, slow down. Speed dips could be put in, very simple, wouldn't hurt a thing. And you did have a police sergeant did contact me. They did a few more patrols for a little bit, and then they were gone. And never seen anything of any value come from any of that, where Heath could come in and do a traffic study and do a put stop signs in, 3-way stops. It wouldn't hurt a thing, and it would slow things down. If they're breaking the law, they know a stop sign means stop, and we need to be able to stop. I mean, we're on a street where kids walk to Hawthorne School, and one of these days, the thought was, back in the time when I first moved there, they said, well, the city had actually planned that if we had somebody killed or hurt seriously going to school, then we'd be forced to put in curb and gutter. So we'd have sidewalks and the whole works. But we don't want it out there. And this is another one of those neighborhoods that is long established, doesn't have it, and the city doesn't seem to care that we have this problem out there. And I'd like to see something happen with it.
Sure. Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate that. And again, I commend you for your emotion. I commend you for your passion. But at the same time, Bruce, the city of Sioux Falls, we are better than that. We are. We're not going to wait for someone to get killed before we react. That's not how we do things. And again, I respect your emotion and your passion. Also, the things aren't just as simple as they may just seem to be from anybody's perspective. In government, nothing is simple. Nothing. I've learned that. The things that I used to be able to turn over very, very quickly in business, it's just different in government. It just is. So, but the one thing though, Bruce, that we do is when we do receive citizen concerns, whether it be about safety or speeding in some area, we are going to go check it out. We do evaluate whether we've received other complaints. We evaluate whether we've had accidents. We evaluate what are the traffic patterns, the traffic volumes, the traffic flows in a certain area. And then ultimately, people like, yes, Heath Hofheiser, good job. They will come out there and they will do these analysis, and then they will make a recommendation on how to proceed. Whether it be yield signs, whether it be stop signs, whether it be speed bumps, and things like that. They really do take it seriously, but they are not going to just do it based on, and I apologize, one citizen's thoughts in terms of what would be the best solution for that. And so ultimately, Bruce, what we can do is, if you wouldn't mind, just write down again I'll go back to Heath, and I'll go back to the chief on Monday, and I'll email you with that. And I'll say, hey, what was what did you find? And then we can get back to you, Bruce, and try to give you an analysis in terms of, here's what we found, good or bad, and here was the recommendation, and here's why they didn't do something that you may deem prudent. Because at least we owe you that. We do. Now, at the same time, Bruce did say something that I love. He was the eyes and the ears of city government as well. Folks, if you've got something going on in your neighborhood that you just don't think is appropriate, you gotta let us know. We don't want you going out there and, grabbing stopping the car that was going too fast, or threatening the neighbor who won't shovel their snow or whatever. But Bruce did do a good thing. He's out there being the eyes and the ears in his neighborhood. He has identified a couple of folks that he felt were not following the law, and he let us know, and we'll go and investigate that. We'll go investigate that too. So thank you. I appreciate that, and we'll keep working on it. But Bruce, if you wouldn't mind just write it down on a napkin and give it to me, and I'll send you an email Monday, Tuesday at the latest. Thank you. Good job. Yes. I'm going to grab the mic if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Can I ask a quick?
It's a follow-up.
I'll be right back.
Oh,
thank you. Please
listen.
stop. Thank you.
I actually wanted to piggyback on yours. I actually feel a little bit bad for you, and you said something at the very beginning about what the city told you, and that is actually, that's true. I've actually been told that exact same thing about there have to be a certain number of deaths, and the traffic patterns and looking into it, and I get that, but that is a city answer that's given. My example that I have to give you is I live down by Pettigrew Elementary,
Yes.
which is a new area of town. And the city has the way that we're developing the streets and stuff now is, one is such that there's only one exit, or one major exit to neighborhoods. So they all have to kind of come to one area, and there has to be like a main road into that neighborhood. Well, anyhow, on those roads, it's the same speed limit as it is on all other side streets, with the problem being is that no one follows it. So I think when I talked to the city the last time, I think the average speed on that side street was like 39 miles per hour, because they've done the traffic patterns on it. But there's no yield signs on anything else. And I talked to him about getting them put in, because I myself have been in about 3 or 4 near-miss accidents. The thing is that it's 2 years later now, and nothing has happened. And the reason nothing has happened is because they are trying to get through city council, what they're saying, ways of getting a new road defined, because they said they can't put up yield signs unless the road is labeled, something else, and then they have to paint lines on it and make the city limit 30. So I really do feel for him. This is a bigger issue than we just need to look into it, and you had mentioned writing your name down and you'll get into it. It's a bigger issue than that, because it's not just happening in my neighborhood, it's happening in all major neighborhoods that are being built. So. Well,
but again, you have to understand, it's first of all, thank you for your comments. I appreciate that. This is a city that is 75 miles square, okay?
Correct.
So, we are working within every neighborhood within that 75 miles, okay? And we'll put up the street signs, the speed limits, the street lights, based on again, those traffic patterns, those growth patterns that are there, and we do it in the most efficient way that we can. However, if you have a specific area that you definitely are seeing concerns with, you do need to let us know. You do. And the answer can be, well, Mayor, 2 years ago, and I'm not trying to be mean, please,
I understand.
It can't be, Mayor, 2 years ago, I reached out to the team, and now it's 2 years later, and I'm gonna come to the listening and learning session and say, we didn't get attention. It is still, it is a big old beast of a city. And so, like Bruce has done, and like I would encourage you to do, don't give up. Not that you would. If you make a call into city government, Mark Cotter's area, Keith Holtizer, whatever it would be, and you believe that you're not getting the satisfaction that you need, don't give up. Contact the mayor's office, contact whatever, and then we'll continue to follow up until we at least give you an answer one way or the other in terms of what's happening. One of the things that is truly, you are spot on.
Quite frankly, I hate to interrupt.
No, please.
Quite frankly, I don't foresee any change in this issue. I'm just commenting on his, because I feel for him, because I've been through the same thing. And I'm kind of apathetic towards the issue at this point, because I don't foresee any change by this department of the city. I don't foresee them doing anything about it. I foresee what I foresee happening is, a kid getting in an accident, because it's right next to an elementary school. A mom driving home at the average speed of 38, which the city is very well aware of, and getting in an accident, and I foresee a death happening in order for any change to happen. And I hate to say that, I don't want that to happen, but I really, truly think that that's what's going to happen.
And your comment is very, very fair. However, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you. I never take an approach, ever, where I allow, I don't think anything's going to improve or anything's going to get better. I will never accept that. And I apologize, it's where we'll have to respectfully disagree. But again, I understand your passion. You want to protect the people of your town, but not that we're going to get into degrees, but that is my job. It's the most important job that I have, and that's protecting the people of this town along with the visitors that come here. So I'll never accept, I don't ever think it's going to get better. Now, do I ever believe that we're going to stop speeding in this town? No. You're right. When the speed limit is 30, people usually drive 36 to 37 miles an hour. Is that going to change? No, I don't think so. I think there's always going to be speeding in our town. However, if there are areas of town that the volumes, the pedestrians have more density, there's a higher propensity of kids walking to and from here to there, we do make adjustments, and ultimately we will. So you have the choice today, sir, if you want to take the time to write your name on a napkin with your address and take the risk that I'll follow up, do it. If you don't think there's a chance that I'll follow up and that's a waste of your time, I respect that as well. But it's your call. It's your call, and it's Bruce's call, it's this gentleman's call, but we do take this seriously. We do. I actually even have built what I call a presidential communications team. It's something that I used when I was in corporate America, and basically now every time an email comes into the mayor's office, okay, if I don't personally respond, there is one person within every department of Sioux Falls City Government that will respond on the city's behalf. And we follow up on it until it's done, okay? So that is how seriously I take these things. Now, do I know about every phone call and every email that comes into Sioux Falls City Government? I don't, but I do know about those that come into the mayor's office. And I would ask you just to let me have another chance to check it out.
Oh, I'm not upset with you. My comment was made so that you would check into it.
No, and don't worry, it's not about me. It's not about me. We are trying to make government better, more responsive, more accountable, more productive, more efficient, more taxpayer friendly. Is it perfect? No way. I mean, sir, you're exactly right. There's a ton of issues still remaining, not only in your neighborhood, but all over this city. What I ask you to do is just keep working with us, keep working in collaboration. And together, I truly believe there's nothing that we can't accomplish. Now, are we gonna butt heads every now and then? Absolutely. Are we gonna agree to disagree? Absolutely. Are we gonna have different opinions? You know, this person may think this, I may think this, absolutely. But I still think that we can find some common ground, you know, have some communication, some compromise, and hopefully get something done. And I would like to work with you as well on this. And two, sir, I mean, I can tell you're educated, I can tell you're passionate. There's other things too that you can do that I'd love to have you consider. And that there's a variety of city citizen committees in town that, you know, I'd love to have you get involved in those too and help, you know, make even more positive change in government. I'd love to have you do it if you consider it. And again, thank you for having the guts to challenge me today and to talk about these things, because it's not just, you know, Bruce's neighborhood or your neighborhood. I get these comments all over town. I do. I do. And it is really all over town. And one of the greatest fears is that as the town gets busier and bigger and more dense, people are still trying to get from point A to point B in the same way they used to. And now, because it is getting busier, they are going faster. They're running more red lights. They are driving in a more dangerous fashion. And ultimately, it is only probably a matter of time when we're going to have more accidents and indeed, sad to say, you know, more deaths in our town. But we're not just going to give up on it. So thank you. Give a follow-up, sir. Please take it. Go ahead.
No, I can wait till later, but, well, actually, I'll just take the
Please.
opportunity.
And then Scott, I'll go to you.
So, with respect to, you mentioned traffic lights.
Yes.
Yeah. Ever since our issue, you know, I'm from the Roland, which, you know, you guys all know here. Ever since our issues with the Russell Street here, which you were aware of, and it's over, and it's a great road now. I'm very happy with it, and I'm very happy with the results today. I've been critical of the street department, or specifically the engineering department, and their handling things. It's not just with my comments earlier, or with what that gentleman was saying. An example that I have 10 stoplights on my way to work here. I don't have an issue with 10 stoplights. What I have an issue with is that 7 of them don't work correctly. Arrows are out, lights are burned out of them, the magnets under them, or the sensors, excuse me, aren't working. And it's on 41st Street primarily. So every day, all of the people coming from westbound that are headed to the east, you know, they have to wait an extra like 5 minutes because traffic lights aren't working. What really irritates me is that the city is aware of at least one of them for 2 years. And that's why, when I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of apathetic towards it. It's because that's my, consistently, every interaction I've had with that department is, we're getting into it and there's a lot of talk about we're going to change and we're making improvements and we got a lot on the plate and stuff like that. And the fact of the matter is that there's been no change. There's been no visible improvement. You know, the last time I mentioned issues too, we had a meeting out here with Mark and Heath. You know, and they failed to come to a second meeting or a follow-up meeting. I've not seen any results from the initial part. I mean, there have been results.
Okay.
Don't mistake me.
Very good.
I mean, there have been results because we've done email communication and we've worked with you, we've done things like that. And I'm not bringing up this road construction. I'm bringing up other things that we've been involved in. It's a much bigger issue than I think maybe you're aware of, or that we're going to admit to.
Very good. Thanks for engaging.
My concern has to do with the streets in the city that are the through streets, the Cliff, the Cleveland, the Minnesota. Is there a way to reschedule, reprogram those? Because sometimes you're coming onto one of those streets, you have a very long wait. And I was wondering if there could be a different balance established so that these streets don't have. Sometimes you'll sit there at Cliff, for example, and there's nothing coming on Cliff, you still wait 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's interesting too. This is kind of interesting. And I've been doing these listening learning sessions now for 5.5 years. This is interesting because they're definitely the commentary today is involving, traffic flow and speed and safety and coordination. That's interesting. And it also helps me get a good pulse on the people of our town. We are actually, and you may not, we are truly actually investing more resources, more money, more time into the topics that all of you are talking about. We are. But again, it's that balance. Those through streets, the Cliffs, the Minnesotas, the 41st, the 10th streets, those are those roads where we want to get a bunch of cars into and then get them on their merry way so that they can then kind of go into those little arterial streets all around. So you do have to wait longer to get on those, and that is done purposely because we're trying to keep Sioux Falls moving in a safe way. But it is challenging though too. I mean, I've got all kinds of roads where my wife and I are going, my goodness, this is a real challenge to get on there. But we are trying to find that balance. And that's why you're going to see, in the years to come, you are going to see more street lights. You are. More things that maybe used to seem that you could just do with ease. Now you're going to have to wait just a little bit longer or proceed in a more cautious way. I'll give you another example. We've got businesses in town that we used to put exits or entryways into businesses, pretty easily. And there weren't these medians in the middle of the roads, so you could turn left, you could turn right as you wanted to. Well, we're growing up as a city now. And now actually we're putting these medians in the middle of the road, so the only way you can go is right. You can't go left anymore. And oh my gosh, do I get, we're trying to be safer for everybody, but at the same time, we're making people mad because now they gotta go right and then come back around to get to where they're going. That's the challenge. We're not Yankton, we're not Mitchell, we're not Brookings anymore. In fact, we're becoming a Yankton, every 4 years. We're a new Yankton. We're a new Mitchell every 4 years. And so it is, I respect what you're saying. It is reality. We are becoming a bigger city, and it is becoming, you are having to become more patient or kind of change your driving style or habits to get around. One thing too, I guess I'll say this, folks, one thing I would strongly encourage you to do, and I don't know why we don't get it yet in Sioux Falls, we've got 3 interstates right within a stone's throw of everybody. But yet I've got people who just won't use the interstate. And they're used, we need people to use those because they're the most efficient way to get from point A to point B. But yet folks don't want to use the interstates like they do in bigger towns. So, do you have a follow-up, ma'am?
No, I was just going to say, I understand all that you're saying, but I'm just wondering if that length of time could not be shortened a little bit on the major ones. Not totally, but somewhat, to give us a little more time.
Yes.
Less time to have to wait.
It's a great, I wish everybody would be the mayor or Heath Holtheiser. I wish everybody would be Heath Holtheiser for a day. Because it is that balance. You've got people who are saying, Mayor, we got to get, from point A to point B faster. And so then, we invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in this streetlight technology on those major roads, and more is going to come. But it is going to really, if you're trying to get on those roads, you are going to have to probably wait a little bit longer, but we'll continue to refine it. make it better. And two, if I can, if there is a particular intersection or a light or something that you think just doesn't, is just not working, please let us know. Please let us know. And I can't guarantee you that you know, it's getting done, but if you at least if you want to let me know, I'll keep it on my to-do list until we follow up with the solution. So that's why I want to see what these are. But can I ask, which area, is there a specific intersection that's really bothering you?
Several.
Can you give me a couple?
Well.
I'm with you. Ask my wife Cindy and I. We complain about the same things.
Yes, we live
do.
on East 6th Street.
East 6th.
And so to get across, we have Cleveland, we have Cliff,
Yes.
we have Minnesota, and to go on the interstate for those things is not logical.
Yeah.
So.
No, and 6th Street's is going to get busier and busier too. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Thank you. Good job. Can I see pattern of discussion today? Others? Yes. Thank you.
Come on, Soda Pop, let's go. Come on, let's go. Come on.